Right there. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Liam the Hitman Harrison joining me on Beyond the Ring. I'm Mitch Chilson, and I am joined by the one and only Liam Harrison. Brother, the 8-time Muay Thai world champion. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody knows your accolades. I'm not going to get into it, but I got to ask right off the jump, what's going on with the sling, man? How you doing, brother?
Thanks for having me, Mitch. By the way, but yeah, I've just had surgery 2 days, but 2 days ago on my left shoulder. I'm guessing it's just from years and years of swinging my left hook all over the place like a maniac. There were a lot of wear and tear and joint problems going on in there. So before the Sexan, I had a tear in my rotator cuff, which was causing me problems. I then had that fight. I was going to get it fixed, but then I ended up having one more fight on my own show in England, the Hitman Fight League. So I was in pain the whole camps during those two fights. And then when that got out of the way, I then got offered the fight against Solin U in America. So I thought, well, 3 more months. I can handle 3 more months of being in pain. But then when that America show got cancelled, I thought I better just get it looked at and fixed. And I had some tears in my supraspinatus. I had a full tear in my labrum front to back. So I went to Costa Rica. I got some stem cell treatment into the tears. They're all totally healed now. But the problem with this is over years and years of hitting the pads and throwing my arms all over, my AC joint had started to remodel itself and it was pressing down onto my ligaments. So I was just in constant pain with it and I couldn't get any relief. So the doctors had to go in, the surgeon, he shaved the bit of the bone away. And he actually said, when I was looking around with the camera, he said there were no tears, your labrum were fine, your supraspinatus were fine. So the stem cells healed all that up. And he said, even if I do say so myself, when I'd finished shaving the bone away, I was looking in the camera at your shoulder. He said it looked like a perfect shoulder. So he said, once all this inflammation's back down, he said, I'll be back at gym in a couple of weeks. So it's not anything too major. So I'll be back in ring by end of year.
So stem cells. That's the magic ticket right there, huh?
That's the key, mate. I got told to retire a few years ago after Nongo smashed my knee to pieces. And after the surgery and stuff of putting all the ligaments back together, I was still having massive problems and I couldn't get through a training camp. But I went and got the stem cell on my knee first. And then I was absolutely fine. I fought 3 or 4 times since that now. So honestly, it's been life changing.
Wow, because I knew about the knee. I knew the knee was a
Yeah.
problem. The shoulder, that was a new one for at least for me to find out about. I actually just got an MRI done in my shoulder. I got two torn rotator cuffs and a torn labrum. So
Ah,
yeah,
stem
I'm
cells.
doing some. Yeah, I had stem cells done on my neck, and it didn't quite fix my trap
Oh,
and things
really?
like that. So I'm thinking PRP might be the next thing. I don't know. I'm
Okay.
curious to know, what does a day in your life look like now that you're on the mend? You're not training for a fight, I don't think yet, and you're just kind of recovery business mode. What does a day in your life now look like?
So yeah, at the minute, I can't really train. I'm just on rehab at the minute, just doing rehab. I go insane when I can't train. I hate not being able to train. So and I need my mind occupied on some things. I'll lose it otherwise. So what I'm doing at the minute, obviously, we've got my own promotion in England, the Hitman Fight League. I'm doing a lot of work on that. And what we're doing at Hitman Fight League at the minute is we're branching out. We're all getting some shows going abroad and around Europe. We've got one in Bulgaria later in the year, so I'm putting a lot of effort into that with the team. We're also going to start signing some fighters up. We've got quite a few already signed. We're going to start announcing that because we're going to start managing them, hopefully pushing them towards bigger things like getting on One Championship Friday fights and looking to get them contracts and stuff like that. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff going on that I can keep my brain occupied with. Um, just so I can just not lose the plot because since I was 14 years old, well, 13 years old, I've trained twice a day every day. So especially when I just have to just stop dead, I'm like, well, what can I do with myself here? Because I can't coach or anything either. Usually, if I'm not training to fight, I'll be in the gym coaching, but I can't hold pads, I can't do anything. So yeah, I have to have my brain engaged on something. And luckily, it's the Hitman Fight League what I can do. So I'm just busy matching fights at the minute for the shows with the team, talking with the team about fighters we're going to sign. I'm going to try push towards other bigger things like One Friday fights and stuff like that. So yeah, at least I've got that to focus on.
Okay, so I mean, I understand you've got quite a few entrepreneurial endeavors going on. Like, you don't just have Hitman Fight League, but are you a part owner of the Bad Company? as
Yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah. I'm a
And you've
co-owner of the.
got Liam Harrison online. Like, there's a lot of irons in the fire right now for you, bro.
Yeah, so I've got my liamharrisontraining.com, which is it is massive. There's thousands of members on there. So I
Really?
always have to, I always have to update all my stuff on there and make sure they're getting the best experience for the money. And even when I can't add anything, I'll make sure I'll get some new coaches on there, some top ties or something like that. I'll send my videographer off to Thailand and he'll get loads of top ties on there and add some new tricks and stuff from them. So my members have always got something new because if I keep just breaking myself, they need someone else in there to keep adding stuff to it. I've got my seminars, and obviously, I'm lucky that this wasn't as bad as I thought. So this sling will be off at the weekend, and then by the time the rehab's done, I can start my seminars back at the end of this month, which isn't too bad. I'm going to America again next month to do a little seminar tour all around the Texas area. Then when I get back, I'm going to start some hard training. I'll be able to start training hard again when I get back from that. However, it's my 40th birthday at the start of October. I would have liked to have fought around then, but my missus has had a big birthday shindig planned for me for a long time. So we're going to New Orleans and we're going to Vegas and we're going around
Oh,
America and doing some cool shit. So
there you go.
as soon as I get back from that, I'll be straight in the fight camp and I'll hopefully I can fight before Christmas.
Okay. Are we gonna do the Hitman Fight League, or are you gonna come to one?
I'd
What are we
like to come
doing?
back on one, but what I've seen, what's enticed me on one, I've been having a lot of hand problems over the year because I punch hard. I've broke my hands many times, but I've seen one are going to start doing some 8 ounce Muay Thai fights. So I'd like to fight in the 8 ounce gloves in Muay Thai on one, so I can protect my hands a little bit because my hands are riddled with arthritis. And
Yeah.
what I like to do now at my age, I like to have a fight and then I go off and I usually do a seminar tour. Um, when I put the little gloves on, I always smash my hands to bits, and I've got to wait for ages before I can. I can't hold pads. I can't even pick up the kettle. I can't type on my phone. But I've seen one of doing the big gloves again, so I'd like to fight Muay Thai for one in the 8 ounce gloves, and it keeps it a bit more traditional for me then as well. Don't get me wrong, the 4 ounces are exciting. It's the most exciting sport on earth. But my poor hands just can't take too much more of that. They're absolutely battered. I mean, this one's got a metal plate in it, all holding it together. This one's been broke about 4 or 5 times, and it's just riddled with arthritis. So I'd like to, if I can, on one because I've seen them. They announced it the other day. I'd just like put the 8 ounce gloves back on and do a traditional Muay Thai fight on one because I definitely want to come back. I was really looking to fight in America and putting right the wrong of the Sexan fight, but when that got cancelled, I thought I better get my shoulder fixed first, just so I can be out of pain.
Okay. Okay. Well, on the entrepreneur thing, when did you realize that Liam Harrison could kind of be a brand as well, not just a fight career, not just the athlete, but when did you realize that there was something bigger there?
A couple of years ago, this war, and my missus was always on at me saying like, "You need a pension. You need something for after you fight, after you finish fighting and stuff." She said, "Look what happens to most fighters. They finish the career, then they've got nothing. They end up blowing the money, and then they've got nothing to fall back on and stuff like that." So I've spent many years getting things in place like seminars, tours, making sure that I'm the best coach that I can be, and people want me to come to their gym and stuff like that. And then what started happening when I was doing all my seminars. Well, going, oh, that were amazing, but I forgot a lot of the stuff you just taught. Can I go to your website and refresh? And I was like, what website? And they were like, what, you don't have a website with all this on? Why not? And I didn't even think out of it, and it just kept happening and happening at these seminars until one time, this one guy came up to me and went, oh, that were amazing, that seminar, but I forgot it all. Can I go to your website? So I don't have a website. And he was like, whoa, here's my card. I'm a web designer, a videographer, and a photographer. If you want to talk, let me know. So I went away, I did a few more seminars, and people kept asking the same question. And I just got this business card, and I thought, should I just ring this guy? So I rang him. He came up to Leeds. We had a meeting. We sat down with one of my friends, and he was saying, I think this can be massive. And I said to my friend afterwards, I said, think I should do this? And he said, yeah, do it. That was 5.5 years ago. Since then, we've had 55,000 members on Liam Harrison Training. Yeah, yeah,
55,000.
yeah,
That's like a
yeah.
small country, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I couldn't believe it because I would, if it weren't for him saying, "There's my card. Seriously, you need to do this," I wouldn't have done it. So yeah, and so that's been amazing for me. That set me up for life. Like, cause everyone keeps saying to me now, "Why don't you retire from fighting? You don't need the money." I'm like, I don't do it for money. I've never done it for money. I've done it just because I love it. So I'm not retiring until the wheels fall off. I said, I know I spat my dummy out after the Sexton fight and retired, but that was only because I was so mad at myself for losing. Um, but yeah, I don't fight for the money. All my money comes from the website and stuff like that. I fight for the love of this sport. So I'm lucky really that I've still got the heart to do that, because a lot of fighters end up going on because they need the money. I'm still fighting because I absolutely love it. I just love doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been looking. No, it's down to people like my wife and stuff like that, and good advice from friends and people who said like get all these things in place. And I think I've done a good job of getting all my seminars. I had enough money from my website to buy this, help putting money into this new big facility at Bad Company Gym, and things like that. My fight money can just go to my pension and stuff now. So I've been lucky really that I've had people to guide me, and I've done well out of what I had to work with.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any advice for fighters today that are looking beyond their fight career and how they can become a brand? Because it seems to be kind of a missing hole for athletes to transition into being a business owner or branding themselves after their fight career is done, or even while they're doing their fighting career.
Yeah, yeah. So social media is obviously a great gift for fighters, but it also can be a curse if you don't use it properly. You have to come across not as, you can't be a dick. You can't come across as arrogant. You can't come across as too cocky and stuff. You have to come across confident, approachable, where brands and sponsors are going to want to approach you and have you represent their brand. So you can't, because Jonathan Aggett is a great example because he's got so many sponsors. I see his sponsors get updated all the time. Everyone wants to sponsor him. Obviously, he's top of the food chain as well at the minute, but you see he's always putting out for sponsors and stuff like that, and he does a really good job of getting the sponsorship and stuff. So if anyone wants to like, we'll look at Aggie's page and stuff, but he's doing all the time for sponsors. Have a look at him. He's a good example for that. But Leah, like I say, you've got to be approachable. You've got to come across well on social media. You've got to show not just your fighting side, but like if you want to get into coaching and stuff, show it. Show you're a good coach. Show that you're interested in the coaching side and you've got the same passion for coaching as you have fighting, which I have, which I think it comes across well, which I've why my seminars have been so well. Like I'm so sought after everywhere. It's because I'm passionate about it and I love it. And I think that's just because I just love the sport so much. Not I love coaching just as much I love fighting. And that, I think that'll come across when we go into the Hitman Fight League stuff. That I think I'll show that when I'm managing the fighters and stuff and trying to help them progress their career. And I can give these guys all the advice and tidbits at the Hitman Fight League. All these guys we sign, I can sit down with them and have chats with them every month, or even a video call like this once monthly, just to say, right, I'm looking at what you're doing on your social medias. I think you should change this. Why don't you try this? We're approaching these sponsors for you to do this. Can you do this? And I'll be able to guide them a little bit. And where I did well, I'll be able to push them in that direction. If they start doing things that I did wrong, I'll say, well, don't do that. Just hang back a bit there doing that. I did that before and it didn't quite work out. So I think I've got a lot of trial and error over the years where I can help guide these guys to get to that next level.
What are some of those mistakes that you see fighters making on their social media?
I think a lot of them think that this trash talk and stuff is what people need at the minute, but it's not. That scares sponsors off when they see people like using the ridiculous language and acting a bit of a fool and stuff like that. So there's no, you don't need to do that. We're not UFC. We're not like crazy circus WWE type things. You don't need that in Muay Thai. Um, so I try and tell people to back off from stuff like that. It repels sponsors 100% because I spoke to some really high level sponsors. Said, "Oh, have you seen like this guy and stuff?" And they've said, "Yeah, but have you seen his page? Foul language, acting a fool, calling out fighters, doing this, doing that." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right. To be fair, so it repels them."
Were you nervous about getting on camera and putting your stuff out there, or did it come just naturally because you spoke so much during coaching and seminars?
I like talking shit. I'm good at it. So I could just what you know me, Mitch. I could just waffle and waffle for hours and hours. If you give me any subject, I'll just go. "Boo," and even if I don't know about it, I'll sound like I do. But yeah, I mean, I like especially when I'm doing my seminars and stuff because I'm passionate about it. I go into every intricate detail. I think that's my ADHD. I'm hyper focused on Muay Thai, so like I go into every single detail when I'm coaching, and that's what a lot of feedback I get. Going, oh, no one's ever gone into that amount of detail, and you say all these little stuff that I should know, but it's just that little extra detail that makes the difference. Um, so I find that easy, and I find like stuff like this easy when we're talking about on podcasts, talking about stuff that I'm interested in. I'm good at just waffling on about it. are not a lot of fighters that try and get them to look at some sort of media training and stuff. I remember when I first signed to 1 years ago. Do you remember when they took everyone to Phuket? And they
Mhm.
had that big retreat. There was some media stuff going on there, and they were telling us how to talk in front of the camera and stuff like that. And I remember taking a lot of that in, and I'd love it if like more fighters could get stuff like that nowadays, because it does make a big difference how you come across on camera, or someone sticks a mic in your face. If you just go and freeze, everyone's like, "What's this idiot doing?" But if someone just sticks a mic in your face and you just start waffling, and it sounds natural, but it's a bit of fun. It's funny, but it's yeah, do you know what I mean? It's that sometimes I think that's a natural thing, but then others I've watched some guys and like who didn't have a clue when they had the camera stuck or a mic stuck in the face at the start, and I've watched them like evolve now, and they're getting better and better. One of the guys from our gym, Fergus, he's just won the Road to One tournament from our Hitman show, so he'll be coming to One Friday Fights, I believe, in September.
Awesome.
He's a superstar in the making. Honestly, he's got everything, but like about a year ago, I had to like guide him a little bit about how to talk in front of the camera, and he's absolutely brilliant now. He's so funny, but he's serious along with it, and he's destroyed everyone he's fought. I think he's won his last. He's on a 10 fight win streak. He's just destroyed everyone. He destroyed everyone in the Road to One tournament. He won the final by knockout. He's only 18 as well. We just put him for a European title in his last fight on Hitman Fight League, and the guy he fought Sam A, and he went 3 rounds with Sam A. Fergus stopped the guy in 45 seconds. The guy
Wow.
is the guy is a superstar in the making. He's got everything. So I can't wait for you to see him when he gets to one in a couple of months. Because
Nice.
18 years old, he's definitely gonna be the next one from the UK who flies that flag.
Okay, okay. Well, you've seen kind of the growth of Muay Thai throughout the years. I mean, you started way before it was cool. Like you were coming to Thailand before all these influencers were doing it back in the day. Like you've seen the sport change and evolve. What do you see as kind of being the next iteration of the fight game and Muay Thai? What do fighters now need to be doing to get ready to how to grow their brand and achieve like Liam Harrison type success in the sport?
Excuse me. Yeah, so like you say, I've watched it evolve over the years. When I first started out, I was fighting like every other weekend in working men's clubs and clubs full of smoke. People sat smoking and you're in the ring fighting and stuff. It was wild. But I literally fought every single weekend like that just to get experience while I was young. And then when I went to Thailand and lived in Thailand, there was not many shows were on TV. There were no people on YouTube. There were no live shows on YouTube and that. So you just had to, if you wanted everyone to know your name, you just had to fight every single week or month as just as much as you can to get your name out there. Um, Now, obviously, it's televised. There's YouTube. There's big shows everywhere. One championships every week on Friday. They've got other good shows like RWS and that are getting on DAZN and stuff like that. So there's lots of opportunities for these guys. You just have to keep your head down and work hard and keep training hard. So you get to these shows and then get your brand out there on your social media as well. Like I said, still coming across as a decent guy, not looking too cocky, too arrogant, but confident, and yeah, and then let your fighting do the talking, and don't be like talking too much nonsense and like that. Like if you do the work in the ring, you'll catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be shouting your mouth off. But when you do get a microphone stuck in your face, just come across as confident, not cocky, and yeah, you'll reap the benefits from. Like you say, if you the universe will repay you as long as you put the work in the gym, you fight hard in the ring. The universe will 100% repay you.
All right, so Liam, take me back in time. 18-year-old Liam Harrison out there in Leeds, UK. It's right before Christmas, I think the timing was, and you're like, your girlfriend, you're like, yeah, we're done. I'm going to go be a professional fighter in Thailand. Walk me through this choice and what led you to fighting, in these stadiums here in Thailand, because it really blows my mind that some kid from the UK could have this as an aspiration and a goal. And then to make it into reality, fighting every week for a couple of hundred baht at a time. And some of these things, wild, bro.
Yeah. So I've had 29 professional fights by the time I was 18, unbeaten, and I was getting a bit too big for my boots. I'd fought some good ties, but not any like elite champions, and I'd knocked them all out, or I'd stopped them with leg kicks. I'd beat a lot of the good Europeans, and I was like 29-0, and I was thinking I'd won. I think I'd won a world title as well. So I'm thinking, I'm doing all right here. And then I fought an elite Thai champion, and I were 18. It were a couple of weeks before my 19th birthday, and I knocked him down in round two, and I thought, oh, I'm going to knock him out here, and he got up and he beat me within an inch of my life, and it was humbling and embarrassing. And honestly, I've never got. Honestly, that when everyone asks me now, what's the worst beating you've ever took in the fight, I still that. I can still feel everything that were happening to me in that fight. I remember getting out of the ring thinking, Jesus Christ, are the people out there who are actually this good? And it was the most humbling experience of my entire life. And I remember he cut me with an elbow. He was throwing me down in the clinch. He was kneeing me that hard that after the fight I was pissing blood for 2 days. And I was just in. I'm thinking, wow, how am I ever going to compete with these guys? I thought, and I remember just thinking, wow, I thought I was good enough already. And I just got brought back down to earth with the biggest crash imaginable. And it was just doing my head. I'd just be sat around all day thinking, well, I need to do something here. I need to do something. And then one day I just got up and I thought, all right, went on the internet, booked a flight. I said to my girlfriend at the time, I went, right, I'm going to Thailand. And she went, oh, how long are you off for? And I went, I'm off to live there. I'm sorry. I said, I'm not coming back until I can fight with these guys, and
Wow.
I can beat these guys. And then, so a couple of weeks went by. On my 19th birthday, I went off to Thailand, stayed there for around 2.5 years. Just at
Wait
the
a minute,
end
wait a
of
minute.
that,
This is all in your head. Like you came up with this thought process.
yeah,
You
yeah,
didn't have a coach. Like I was talking to Ubaid Hussein the other day, and he's at Kit Pontip, and
yeah.
the coach John Pop was like, "Let's go. We're going to Thailand." But you did this all in your own mind. Like you were
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, I said to Richard, I went to Richard, I'm off to live in Thailand. The gym I lived at the time, Jitty Gym, was a really good gym. It had a lot of high level fighters and coaches. And Richard went, oh, we'll go to Jitty. We've got a good relationship. He said, I've trained with Jitty for many years. Off you go, enjoy yourself. I was like, yeah, perfect. Said to my missus, right, I'm off. Probably ain't going to work out, is it? Never mind. See you later. Said to my mum, I'm like, Mum, I'm off to live in Thailand. She went, do you mean you're off to live in Thailand? I went, I'm off to live in Thailand. I'm going. See you later. That's it. I made my mind up. I'm going. I'll be back in 2 years. See you. And that were it. I just got up and I did it. And for the first 6 months of living there, I got battered every single day. I lived in the gym like the Thais did, on the mattress, on the floor, like John Wempar did back in his day and stuff like that. And when I just moved into the gym, I was the only Westerner living in the gym. There were other Westerners training there, but I was the only one living there with the Thais. And they must have just been like, well, who the fuck's this guy coming in and living here? And they just beat me up every single day. And again, every day for 6 months, I got humbled every single day. But it was the best thing possible because then I started fighting out there. I must have had about 14 fights out there in space of 2 years. So I was fighting regular. I won 12, lost two. So I had a good record. I made a good reputation with all the Thais and stuff. And after 6 months, I remember sparring the Thais in the gym who'd been beating me up every day. And I remember thinking one day, I did all right then. That was not one sided. And I just upped my game that much that I was starting to be able to live with the Thais and stuff like that then. And don't forget, I fought an elite Thai champion 2 years prior. So when I got to 21, I fought four Thais back to back who were all in the top 10 rankings of Thailand at the time, and I knocked all four out. So in a space of 2.5 years, by going and do that, I jumped up because I said, how am I going to get to this level? How can I live with these guys? So I went from that level and getting absolutely destroyed in that fight to then being the guy who was knocking them all out. And I knocked out the number one ranked Thai at Rajadamnern for his WMC world title. And that was the end fight. So I beat the guy ranked number five. I stopped him with an elbow. The guy ranked number two stopped him with an elbow, and then the guy who was number one, he had the WMC title and knocked him out with a left hook. So I had like a really good run at the end of when I just lived in Thailand.
what were some of the skills and attributes that you developed living on the floor in the gym, surrounded by these killers? Like, what kind of, I mean, it must have been extreme discipline. I mean, like when you probably came from a relatively cushy life
Yeah,
in UK, right? Like
it was
you're
eye
used.
opening. Yeah, it was eye opening. I was like, that's when I got there. Where he said, "Oh, do you want to find a nice apartment?" I was like, "No, just let me live here." I said, "I just want to live here and do everything that they're doing. I want to train like they're doing." After 6 months, I did move out because they were driving me fucking crazy. I couldn't live with them anymore. But I did move out. But for the first 6 months, I was just in there and did everything they did. So I got up in the morning, I ran, I clinched, I trained, and then when I first went there, I realised how little I knew about clinching. Obviously, the Thais are the masters of it, and I just got thrown around like an empty tracksuit every single day for 6 months. It were ridiculous until it took me 6 months to be able to like hold my own with them and be able to clinch with them properly every day and actually give something back. I was literally just getting, when I first went there, there were like 14-year-old kids just throwing me on the floor and stuff. It were embarrassing. Um, but again, that type of stuff, like if you don't get out your comfort zone, you're never gonna. That's in any walk of life. If you don't just drag yourself out your comfort zone and get comfortable being uncomfortable, you're not gonna get anywhere in life. You have to be out of your comfort zone as much as you can, and that's what I wanted to do. I remember one time as well. I'd been there for about a year, and I got told I was fighting for a world title on TV. And one of the Thai coaches, he went, right, the guy you're fighting is a really strong clincher. All he's going to do is try and clinch you. So every day, he was a former champion in the golden era. He was called Rajasak Savorapin. He was three-time Rajadanam champion in the 90s, the golden era Muay Thai. His fight name was the Knee Fighter Who Hunts Souls.
Cool name.
Yeah, the coolest name. The coolest fight name I've ever heard. So all he would do is clinch me every single day. Training would start at 3 p.m. It'd finish at 6 p.m. Dinner would be at 7 p.m. My coach from England had come over as well at the time, Richard Smith. So he was there with his family, and training finished at 6. I'd started at 3. At 7:45, the Thai trainer Rajastak still had me out in the ring, kneeing me. He had one glove on and one pad. He was making me knee the pad. He would knee me back. He was punching me with the glove. I could see everyone else eating the dinner. I'd been training for nearly 5 hours non-stop, and a tear rolled down my face. I got that frustrated. Honestly, I got that frustrated and angry, and that he wouldn't just let me go. I had nothing left, and I thought, oh, he's actually broken me here. And I got that frustrated when I was hitting the pads and kneeing him. A tear was rolling down my eye, and then he looked at me and went, "Oh, good training, go eat." And I was like, oh, "You bastard!" But then when I had the fight, I won the fight really easy. The guy kept trying to clinch me. I just kept throwing him off me, and I won on points, and I won the world title live on Thai TV, which were a massive achievement at the time for me.
Yeah.
So I see why he did it to me now, but honestly, that was the only moment where I felt like I'd been physically broken by the Thais.
Well, do you think it's important for current fighters, especially the young guys, to come here to Thailand? Because now it's going to be different. Now it's going to be much
Yeah.
more comfortable. It's going to be a different living situation. This place is made for tourism, especially fight tourism. Do you think it's still something the young fighters should come do, or can they get that work, that same type of growth back home in their home gyms?
So I think obviously there's in England now we have shows every single weekend. Without fail, there will be a Muay Thai show on every single weekend. So there's always chances to get experience here, which I believe they should do. But I still always believe every young fighter should go to Thailand just to get that bit of extra experience. You can fight every week in Thailand, no matter where you are, in Phuket or Samui or Bangkok. There's fights going on everywhere. I still think they should go, just get used to training in that heat and being in the gym with like in England. If you have a gym, you'll have beginners, you'll have intermediates, you'll have fighters. Most of the fight gyms in Thailand you go, it's just everyone with the same goal. I think it's good to be around with people and train alongside people who are all there just chasing that dream. I think it's just good to be involved and to surround yourself with people with a likewise dream like you. So yeah, I would say it's still worth it. It might not be. It's obviously not going to be the same as it was 20 odd years ago, but it'll still be great experience. And then you can still make a good reputation for yourself out there on the local shows to start with, and then as you build yourself up, you can still like start getting recognised. Like there's guys who just come straight to one championship, who won't have that many fights. Look at young Ramadan. 18 years old. He's now just been signed, going to be an absolute superstar. I know he's had a lot of fights on the amateur scene, but he hasn't had many pro fights. He went straight to one championship and he's just blown up. Everyone in the world now knows who he is. He's going to be an absolute superstar. So you never know, if you go out there, you might just be able to. You need that fighting skill and heart and and be an absolute killer like he is. But you need that little bit of luck as well. If you go out there and chase your dream, you never know, that little bit of luck might get you, and then you're off and you're set.
Yeah, what a knockout he had the other day. That
Oh,
was
that fight was insane. Double left hook knockdown. I loved
Man,
that.
that was wild, bro. But speaking of
So,
one championship, go ahead.
so his brother, is it Abdullah? Abdullah, his
Yeah.
brother. So no one knew who he was not long ago. We brought him to fight on Hitman Fight League about 18 months ago, 2 years ago. He
Okay.
just got in contact with us. He went, "I'm going to get a flight to England. Can I fight on your show?" I went, "Yeah." So I went on his Instagram. I had a look at him, and it was him just knocking everyone out in Lebanon. I was like, "Well, if you're coming, mate, you can fight on our show." And we put him in with one of our top good guys. and he beat him easily. It was a good war, but he won clearly. I was like, wow, this guy's good. His next fight was his first fight for one championship, and now everyone knows who he is as well. So I was happy that we actually got him on Hitman Fight League, and then that propelled him off to get on one championship and stuff. So yeah, them two brothers are good. They're both really tough guys, and I hope his other brother gets signed with him as well, because it'd be cool to see them two get signed.
Yeah, man. We've got a lot of killers coming up right now. Who do
They're
you
the
like?
terrifying. Some of the young ones on one championship, I look at them and think, "Geez, this is
Man,
this
bro,
is a
it's
new
ridiculous.
it's a new era of athlete that is going on now. They're all like they're all like something out of Universal Soldier. You know, like all these Terminators. They're always. I look at some of them and they're like 18 years old, all jacked up, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys are scary.
They are terrifying, bro.
Yeah.
17, 18, 19 years old. This new wave that you're talking about is coming in, man. Who else are you a fan of in one championship? Who gets Liam Harrison excited to watch?
Do you know what I absolutely loved last week? Sex versus Muay Thai. I loved it because they've had so many crazy fights in the stadium. I knew it was going to be a mix of absolute madness and crazy stuff with some really cool Muay Thai skills in there as well. Did you see the sweep that Monk kept doing? That little off balancing sweep. It was a thing of beauty, and I knew it had been madness with some really cool moves brought into it, and it didn't disappoint. I was so happy they both got a bonus for that because I absolutely loved that fight. Um, and it was nice to actually. Sexton's has been fighting some people who've been way bigger than him recently as well. It was good to watch him against Muay Thai, and it was a 50-50 fight. They were both perfectly matched, and I thought that were an incredible fight. The young guys who I like to watch, obviously Ramadan. Every time he's in there, you know it's going to be absolutely insane. Freddie Agati, I love watching him. Then I like watching the Thais. I like watching I like watching ties fight ties under that rule set. It's good because you get the mix of the violence in the 4 rounds, but still the skill level. Like Tarani versus Nongo were a thing of beauty. The first fight, especially, I really enjoyed that one because I love the old school style mixed with a bit of wildness in the 4 ounce gloves. I'm not so much of a fan when it just turns into swinging all over the place, and like that's what Chatry said recently as well. That's why I'm behind giving out much
Yeah.
bonuses because he don't want it just turning into complete brawls. It's still got to be some level of skill there, which is why I loved the Sexan Muay Thai fight because it was insane brawls in some parts and then beautiful Muay Thai skills in the other. So there was a bit of everything on show in that fight.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview with you earlier today, and you were speaking about like in the stadiums they fought Femur and they were very technical, and then they come here to one championship and they turn into just a different beast. And an example you gave was the Iron Man, Rod Tang,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
everybody knows very well because like a lot of people don't know that in the stadiums he was a very technical fighter with a lot of very tricky skills, and
yeah.
then to hear people see him smashing his face and shaking his head, and they don't understand just how technical he's doing. And like in the Dennis Purich fight, you see him go through different elements of Muay Thai. It's just a beautiful
Yeah.
example of his ability to change. What are your thoughts on Rod Tang, and why do you think he's so captivating to people?
Like I said, he because like what you just mentioned, then he can just mix it in the middle of a fight. Every now and then on one championship, you see that technical genius pop out for a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, and he'll do something really cool. In between whacking his face and swinging everywhere, he'll do something really smooth and cool. And I think you see this stuff from him. The higher the level is who he fights, like there was so like this the Superleg fight. There was his timing with his elbows was unbelievable. And every now and then he'll go back to a little bit of that FEMA style. Obviously, he punches hard and he's aggressive. So in the 4 ounce gloves, it serves him better. And I think now that he probably just thinks, well, everyone expects me to fight like a lunatic here, so I'm going to do it. But like you said, when you watch some of his old fights, when you watch him fight Rodlek in Namnern Stadium, and all Rodlek does is pressure him the whole fight. He fights the entire fight on the back foot. There's teeps, there's kicks, there's head movement, there's off balancing techniques. There's everything going on. If you just watch his feet and what he's doing, he's technically unbelievable. A lot of the guys in one championship when he fights them though, because he's so strong and tough, he can just walk forward and not show them much respect and just blitz them. But then when you see him fight up the higher levels, like the super fight and things like that, you see he still has to rely on some of that head movement, the technique, technical style, but he can't just blast those guys out of there. So it's still there, it's in him, and that's what makes him such a good fighter, that he can just switch up the styles. And like you just said, in the Dennis Purik, in the middle of the fight, he just switched it up and he'd put his gloves down, he'd move his head like a boxer, and he were getting his head out the way. To just be able to do that against someone who punches like Purik does as well, he's unbelievable. He's an incredible athlete, and he can do all the different styles. And I think, obviously, a lot of the casuals who've just joined recently and don't know about the stadium, they see this animal whacking his chin and they're already captivated. But all the older guys as well who've watched him in the stadiums, they know him because of that. So he's a great fighter who can mix it up and do every style.
Well, one guy that kind of got known for his knockouts and not necessarily his technical ability was a guy named Liam Harrison, who
Mm.
has incredible timing as well. Now, is timing, because it's you see the leg kicks, you see you're stopping people with these big punches and shots, but it's also how you deliver them. Was the timing something that came natural, or was it something you actually learned to improve as your career went on?
So I could always punch hard, but when I were in Thailand, they stopped me. The owner of the gym, JT, he'd come over and I'd smash in the pads and he'd go, look, you don't need. He said, what do you need to do to knock someone out? I said, punch hard. He went, no. He said, what do you need to knock someone out? I went, power. He went, no. He said, what do you need to knock someone out? I went, timing. He went, yes. So then all we did was just work on timing. So all the Thais wanted to do were come and knee me because they knew I could knock out power. They all wanted to step in and knee, clinch me, tie my arms up. So then a lot of the time when we were there, we just worked on countering shots. If they came and knee, I'd step off and hook. I'd sacrifice the power just for a bit of speed and timing. And that's where a lot of my knockouts came from, just setting it up like that. And I found over the years lots of stuff where I could bait people into just moving their arms a little bit, and then I'd use speed and timing over power to get my knockouts. Don't get me wrong, when I've knocked someone down, that's when you'll see I've got that killer instinct in me. I'll just run in and I'll just start swinging everywhere because that I've always had that, and it's it's pretty stupid really because I don't pick my shots and I leave myself wide open, but I just can't help myself. But when you see me usually knock someone down first, it'll always be timing, just looking for a gap and trying to create a gap.
How did you work on that? How did you develop that as a skill and to go back in there with less ego and to focus just on that speed and timing aspect of it?
So the Thai coaches in the gym, they'd put the gloves on and they just all they'd do is just walk at me and try and knee me, and I just have to step off and counter, or they'd stand there and they'd kick me and I'd try and counter it, or they'd come in and try and grab me and they'd have me stepping off and just placing my shots, no power, no speed, just placing them in at first, and then once we got used to like training like that, then I could put a bit of speed in, and then obviously when I got into the fight, I was just throwing it naturally. Then it was like all the stuff like that. The guys in the gym, there'd be pad work, there'd be bag work, there'd be clinching, there'd be sparring. And then at the end of the training, there'd be this one coach that would have made me cry. He'd just put the gloves on and we just do like 20, even just 20 minutes every day of him just walking at me and me getting my time in. One time he'd try and come and knee, the next time he'd try and grab, then he'd try and kick, and all of them it'd just be me stepping off, placing a shot, then doing it a little bit faster. And then when I got in the ring, I'd found that I'd just do it naturally. And then if someone did come and try and grab me, and my left hook could just go over top, bump, and it's them shots that you don't see that knock you out. It's not the power
Yeah.
of them; it's just the unexpected ones. And that's where a lot of my knockouts come from. I've had like 50, 52 knockouts. A lot of them have just been just that timing, just like that.
Well, another skill that you seem to have, and I've heard you talk about it quite a bit, is mental toughness. Now, that seems like something you're kind of born with, but you can also develop it as well. I've seen you get knocked down and get back up. Like, dude, I thought you were done in the Hmong fight after the second knockdown. I was like,
I thought
oh
I was
man,
done as well.
it's been a great run, Liam. But
Yeah.
and then to come back like that and to pick yourself up off the canvas with millions of people watching you, thousands of people in the stands,
Yeah.
like that shows just the kind of heart that you have. Where does that come from, and how can other fighters develop that same type of warrior spirit?
You know what? I was happy that happened because that's not the first time that's happened to me in my career. I've got knocked down with a head kick when I was 17 against a Thai, and I got up and knocked him out. I got knocked down in a few other fights, and I got up and knocked them out. I was just happy that I was on the biggest stage of the world before, because I were old. I'm gutted me because I were old when one championship came for me. I were already past my prime. I was like 34, 34. I'd already done all my best work, and I was gutted that and I'm thinking to myself, I wish they came for me like 5 years ago when I was still the hitman, the real hitman. But I was glad that I got to show that because I thought, yes, I got to show the entire world what I've really got inside of me and what I can actually drag myself up and fight through anything. I tried to do it in the sex fight when I got knocked down in that as well, but obviously that didn't quite go to plan. But I did keep getting back up and just swinging.
You did.
I,
You
I, did, I
did.
did keep back up and swinging. But yeah, you know what? I think a lot of that mental toughness is developed in the gym. Well, all of it's developed in the gym. You've got to be in the trenches in the gym all the time. Like you've got to be in no matter how long. So when I was younger, I was fighting like every month, but 3 weeks and we're just in hell all the time. It just like, you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like I said earlier, if you put all that work in the gym, if you dragging yourself through the trenches, and your team around you are putting you in the trenches every time, when you get in the ring, when you're in the fire in the ring, it's gonna come just second nature, and you've been right. That it's gonna get harder. You got to make a deal with yourself before the fight. Look yourself in the mirror and just say, "Listen, it's gonna get hard in here. Are you willing to put your life on the line?" And if you say no to yourself, don't bother fighting. Don't bother even getting in there because if you say, "Well, I'm not willing to do that," don't get in. Because when you do get knocked down, you won't get back up. And if you do get dizzy and you think, "Oh God, I'm gone here," you will just fade out and you'll just stay down and you won't get up. Even though if you could have done, you'll stay down. Um, yeah, you need to make that deal with yourself. And it's like you say, you're putting your life on the line when you're in there. It's a dangerous sport. You're fighting the best strikers on the planet who are trained. You have trained to fight this guy. This guy is trained to fight you. It's a thing of beauty, but it's very dangerous. And if you're not willing to put it all on the line, then don't bother getting in there.
You've been standing across from some of the literally the greatest fighters on planet Earth, San Nong O, Muay Thai, Rodlek, like some of these legends in the game. Now, do you have that conversation with yourself before you get in there? Is that part of your pre-fight which, or do you just know what you're expecting and you're going to go out there and put it on them? How do you get ready for these monumental moments?
I had that conversation with myself many years ago, like when I decided this is what I'm going to do. When I said I'm going to go live in Thailand. And even when I got battered by that Thai when I was 18, and I did get absolutely battered, I didn't quit and I didn't give up. I'd made my bed. I had to lie in it. I had to just take the beating like a man. So I was never going to quit. So I did it then, even when I was 18. I got badly battered, but I just stuck it out to the final bell. I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid after with some of the shots that he were hitting me if I'd have gone down and stayed down. But I didn't. I stayed on my feet and I took the beating like a man. We chose to do this, and if you get in there, you've got a moral obligation to the fans and to yourself to keep trying and fighting hard. They've paid money not to see someone fall over. They want to fight, so you've got to give them it. You've signed up for this, and if you end up getting in there with someone who's going to beat you down, you've made your bed. You've got to lie in it.
Wait a minute, you're thinking about the people watching. You're thinking about the people at home, the people in the stands, the people that paid money. You're thinking
No,
about
of
putting on a
course.
show for them. When you're picking yourself up from Monk smashing you in the face, you're thinking about Johnny in the stands needs a show and he needs to see the Hitman go to war. That's
Yeah,
incredible. And that's why you're
yeah.
such a fan favorite.
Yeah, of course. You're thinking about stuff like that, and I'm thinking about, can I get out of this ring and look myself in the mirror if I know I can actually get up here and carry on fighting? You've only got one person to account to at the end of the day. Yes, it is an entertainment sport. Yes, these people are paying their hard-earned money to buy a ticket to watch you, or they're taking time out of their day to watch you on YouTube or on Prime, wherever they are in the world. They're taking the time out there to watch, so you have to you've got that obligation to put on a good fight for them. But at the end of the day, the one person you've got to account to is yourself. Can you look yourself in the mirror, knowing that you could have possibly gotten up and kept swinging and trying? Um, the only fight I've never been able to do that in is the Nongo fight when he just ripped my knee straight in half. That still pisses me off to this day. But again, that nearly ended my career, so there wasn't much I could do there. But still, you, if you can look yourself in the mirror, if you get hit on the chin and you're on down the floor and the referee's on 7 and you think I could probably get up here, but you don't. Imagine having to go into the bathroom the next morning to brush your teeth and you look yourself in the mirror. You'd be disgusted with yourself. You couldn't live with that. So that's like the only person you've got to account to, really. Obviously, but you've still got to get up and fight because there's fans expecting to come and watch a war. If someone watches the Liam Harrison's fight, they're expecting blood, guts, and craziness going on. So I've got to try and give them it. Like I say, I've done everything that I wanted to do in my career, bar winning one title. So, like now, when I do fight, I'm just going to do what everyone expects to see from me: hard punches, hard leg kicks, and try and make it a war. I enjoy doing that. They enjoy doing that. Everyone wins.
When you finally do decide to hang up the gloves, what do you want people to remember? What do you want your legacy to be when they think back on the Hitman?
That monk fight. When you think I've had some really good wins, like my win against Anawat back in 2009, I think it was. That was one of my best ones. He was still the current ranking champion. He was the most feared puncher on the planet at the time, and I think and he'd already battered me in the first fight. So that win were really good. Um, when I beat Andre Corbin as well, everyone was saying he was the best foreign fighter on the planet at the time, and I stopped him in round 3. That were really good. But if that the Muay Thai fight, if you remember, because that fight, it just showed us you don't quit. I say this all the time: when it gets hard, persevere. Just persevere and push through. Even if you get back up for the third time and you get knocked back down the third time and the fight's over, at least you tried. But sometimes, if you persevere and you get back up and you fight your hardest, just sometimes that a little bit of magic will happen. And it happened in that fight, and the whole world got to see it, and it still gets circulated now, that fight. So yeah, remember me for that.
It was absolute magic, my man. And after that Muay Thai fight, you did a little nod to Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura. I thought that was brilliant. But what's a side of Liam Harrison that people don't get to see? Like,
Do you know what? I'm
what do
pretty
you like
up.
at home with your dogs? Like,
Yeah.
what do you like outside of fighting?
She's sat over there looking at me now, my dog. And my cat's just sat there asleep next to me. Yeah, you know, a lot of people see on these interviews and podcasts and on my social medias, I'm just myself. I'm just a bit of I'm a laugh. I don't take myself too seriously. I'm just that guy that you see. I'm just one of the guys. I don't take myself too seriously. I don't look at myself as a lot of people come over and take you for. Oh, you're a legend. I don't look at it like I'm just one of the guys. And I just like having fun and just being myself. Everyone can see that on my social media is what I'm like. That is exactly what I'm like. What you see on my social media, me acting a fool and messing around, that's just me.
Do you think it's good for fighters to show another side of themselves? Do you think it's beneficial to their brand to help them grow and be more relatable?
Yeah, I believe so. Went on that little one retreat that we did a few years ago. That they actually mentioned that on the media training day, saying show the other side what you are like outside of the ring. I believe one of them said, as long as you're not a dick, show that side of you outside of the ring. But if you're a bit of a dick outside the ring, don't bother. I can't remember who said that, but it made me laugh, and it stuck with me. But yeah, like you've got to show that side of you. As people, when they're following you, they want to see every side of you. They don't just want to see the fighter. They want to know the guy outside of the ring. They want to know if you're a guy who can come and approach and ask for a photo or anything like that. And yeah, you've got to just be like just a normal person, I think, outside of the ring and show that side of yourself. Show yourself with your pets and your dogs and your family and your kids and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure you're really helping the guys in your gym and the seminars that you teach and also your online training as well. If you could send a message to somebody that's just getting to know you and getting to know your brand and that wants to be following the life that you led, what kind of message would you send to them? What would you encourage them to do or not do?
Do you know what? Like I said about social media, you can go on social media, follow some of your favourite fighters who you look up to, who you think are good role models for you. Because there's plenty out there, especially most of them who are signed to one championship. They're all good guys who you can look up to. They all train hard, they live their life, they do it right, they don't act a fool off camera. There's plenty of them, especially in Britain. We've got so many good fighters here. Look at guys like Nico Carrillo. The guy is just a dedicated. He is what I was talking about this new era of athlete, this universal soldier style. I've never seen anyone built like him in Muay Thai in my entire life. But look how he trains. He lives the life, and he deserves everything that he gets. I'm good friends with Nico, and I love everything that he stands for and he's about, and I love how the effort he puts into living the life right. So if anyone is going to go look up to, so I'm coming a bit towards the back end of my career now, but if you want a young guy in your prime to look up to, have a look at Nico because he's doing it right. If I could still train like he does, I would do, but if I tried doing that now, I'd just fall to bits, I think. Because he has a fight, and then 2 days later, he's doing a marathon up in the mountains, like 26 miles up in the hills and that. Um, I have a fight now. I have to sit in an ice for a week straight. I'm all messed up and stuff. So I'd love to. That's one thing that I miss about being young, just that bounce back. But yeah, if you're looking for, there's so many young guys, especially in the UK, you can look up to now, and then obviously look at some of the older guys who are like me, myself, and stuff, who have done everything and have got yourself there. Like I said, Muay Thai in the UK is a hotbed with so many great athletes in this country, so many role models, and so many people you can look up to. Haggerty, Nico, George Jarvis is about to fight for a world title against Ursel, which will be an incredible fight. We've got some incredible female fighters for the girls to look up to there. So yeah, you're spoiled for choice, really.
Well, one downside that I often hear about, putting yourself out there and doing the social media is the haters. It's the people. It's the criticism, man. It's the trolls. How do you deal with it? Because you seem to kind of have fun with it. You'll get right
Yeah.
in there and mix it up
I,
with them, man.
I can't help myself sometimes. I used to do a thing called the Troll Chronicles, and I'd go through all of them and I'd just pick a few of them out and I'd reply to them and I'd go on their page. So they'd gone on my page and they've picked out something on me. So I'd just go on their page and I'd just pick a funny photo out of them and I'd just troll them right back. And everyone loved that. But then my missus said, stop wasting your energy on these. And I was saying, yeah, but I only do it. What I did was I just wait for once a week. I'd dedicate an hour of my time and I'd just go on and get loads of them. And she said, you could be doing something like proactive with that hour. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right there. But even when I look at them now, they still make me laugh because it's always just sort of like some geezer who's like never had a fight in his life, or he's some random fat guy telling you like you should be doing this and you're kicking wrong and this is wrong, and it's funny really, but it blows my mind that there's people actually out there doing that. This would be like me saying I know nothing about, and what sport, what can we say? I know nothing about like snooker. It's like me going to one of the best snooker players and going, "Whoa, you're holding your cue wrong, mate. You don't do it like that." Do you know what I mean? I don't get how they. If you've never had a fight, how can you comment on it or tell someone? It's crazy, but yeah.
But it definitely stops people from, posting and putting out there because they're scared of the reaction. Is it something you've ever had to deal with, or did you just kind of just have fun with it from the jump?
Yeah, I just had fun with it. Like it's happened to me for years and years. Especially with the way I hit the pads, all aggressive and stuff like that. There's always going to be people who aren't sure what they're looking at. They're going to be going, "What's this idiot doing?" Do you know what I mean? With all the noises and stuff. So I just get on with it and I just laugh it off. That's what you've got to do. It's like, especially because more you can tell by one click on their profile, they know nothing about like fighting. So yeah, just laugh it off and don't sweat the small stuff like that.
Okay, we're going rapid fire. Final couple minutes here before you wrap this thing up with the Hitman. Hardest puncher you've ever faced.
I know that easily. The second fight, he hit me with a left hook in round four. And even I won that fight. But I remember he hit me in round four and I looked at him and he was like, no weebles that do this. And I was looking at him thinking, Jesus, he's going to knock me out here. So I said to myself, just call him on and he won't know. So I went, come on. And he didn't come on. If he'd have hit me again, he'd have knocked me out 100%. But because I called him on, I think he thought, ooh, he's not gone. I won the fight, went to the after party. I sat down and I woke up in the back of an ambulance because I'd passed out. He'd give me a really bad concussion. I had to stay in hospital overnight and get monitored and stuff like that. That's how hard he hit.
They didn't check you out. You just went right to the party.
Yeah, well, I went to got out the ring. I was still buzzing, all the adrenaline. The doctor checked me and he said, "Are you all right?" I went, "Yeah, I'm all right. I've just won, biggest win of my career. I'm happy. Get me to after party. Get me a beer." Got to the after party and I blinked and I was in the back of an ambulance. I was like, "Whoa, what happened?" And they went, "You passed out." They took me to
Wow.
hospital. Yeah, I had a concussion, really bad concussion. That's how hard he punched. It was ridiculous.
Wow, bro. One guy you wish you could have fought.
Ooh, do you know what? I fought everyone I wanted to fight from this era. I just wish I had a better fight when on. My leg just didn't explode in round one. Credit to him because he kicks like an absolute mule. But I wish we could have had put on a better show for the fans. I was really, really gutted about that and disappointed, especially with it being a title fight. And I knew it had probably been because I was already old then as well. I knew it had probably been the only shot I got. But that's the world works in weird ways sometimes, doesn't it? Just when you think I did something amazing in the Muay Thai fight, and then I got my leg blown to bits in the next fight. So that's the highest highs and the lowest lows. So that's probably the one thing that I wish I could have had a better fight with Nongo.
Funniest backstage moment after a fight or before a fight.
After that Muay Thai fight, because what happened in the Muay Thai fight, I couldn't believe it when I was getting ushered to the back. When everyone pushed you to the back, and they pushed you to the doctor, and they took me gloves off, and my hand were all swollen. He went, "No, I think you broke your hand. You're gonna have to go to hospital." So I've got ushered out, and I'm sat there. I've still got my tie shorts on. I've got one glove still on this hand. I'm sat there with this hand like with loads of ice on it. I'm sat in the back of this ambulance. I'm just thinking. I looked round at my coach and I just went, "What the fuck just happened? Did that happen?" And my coach went, "I don't know. I think it did." I looked at my other coach. I went, "What just happened?" He went, "I don't know." And we just kept going. Did that really just happen? I went, "Did I just get 100 grand then? Did I get up and knock him out?" And we couldn't actually believe what had just happened. And we
Really?
just kept saying it all night. Did that happen? Did that happen? And then when we went back to the hotel afterwards, like me and Minnie T and everyone, we all got a bottle of whiskey and just sat in the hotel room and had a drink. So that was a pretty cool one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Worst weight cut experience.
Oh, the Sexam one in Denver. I'm sure that was one of the reasons because I said in the after fight after that I said I don't think I can take the shots anymore. I'm sure it was to do with the weight cut. The altitude in Denver it does weird things to your body. So obviously for one you have to pass the hydration. I was drinking liters and liters of water every night, but waking up really dehydrated every morning. And when I was looking into it, like at the altitude messes with your hydration levels big time. And I'm thinking, how on earth? I've just drank a litre and a half before bed and I've been pissing clear all day. How on earth am I going to sleep and then waking up dehydrated? I couldn't get my head around what were happening. Then the wake up was terrible, especially because I'd gone down to 140 at fight him as well. And he'd been fighting everyone else at 142. And I went, oh, 142, I could do that easy. And he went, no, 140. I went, no, you just fought him at 142. Tell him to fight me at 142. No, he won't fight you at 142. I went, oh, for fuck's sake. So that extra £2 just killed me off a little bit. Like my last fight were at 140, and I did it easy because you don't have the hydration rules in England and stuff like that, so it's easy to just get in sauna. But on one, when you got past hydration, that really hurt me badly, getting to 140. And it was weird doing it at the altitude as well. And it was just weird fighting at that altitude because everyone were affected by it, other than the Thais. I'm not sure whether the humidity in Thailand helped them or something. But I said to Sexan and Superlek afterwards, I mean, can you feel the altitude? I said, because I'm dying here. And they were like, no, it's fine. So that was the worst wake cut because it was if anyone could have seen the bit when I had to get on fully naked as well, like my underpants had to come off and they had to have that big that thing that put you in your head sticks
The
out on the
curtain.
top.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I got on and I was still overweight and I went to the toilet when I gave my urine sample. I got on, I was still like 0.002 overweight. I thought, oh no, and they went, take your underpants off. I took my underpants off and I was bang on weight, but I had no power at all. We could tell in that fight. It was like for the first 30 seconds, and then I just died off after that. It were awful. It was so bad.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
I hope you get one more with us, man. I hope you get one more with us. What kind of music do you listen to? What gets you fired up or chills you out? What do you like to listen to?
So I'm a massive Michael Jackson fan, but
Really?
yeah, yeah. Have
Yeah?
you seen? There's always
That's
stuff of me like
cool.
dancing about like MJ on my Instagram and stuff like that all the time. When Andy Howson fought for a world title in Leeds, I actually dressed up as Michael Jackson, and there were loads of steps he had to walk down. And I got on, and he came out to Billie Jean, and I did a little dance for him, and no one knew it was me. And everyone going, "Oh, that was a really good dance." And it was actually me. I had a mask on and
Really?
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I'll find the video and I'll send you it. I'll
Yeah,
send you the
yeah.
video. Um, but yeah, if I pressed shuffle on my phone, it'd go from I don't know country to hip hop to 50s rock and roll to 70s. I've got such an eclectic mix of music. If I want, I love hip hop if I want to like get in the zone to know like if I'm getting ready to fight or something like that. But if I'm just driving in my car, I'll just press shuffle and like I say, 50s, 70s. I love my 80s, and then there'll be a bit of hip hop, and then I don't really listen to anything from nowadays. I like if any new music that I listen to. It's only country music. That's the only one that I like from these days. But I've got such an eclectic mix.
I know you're a big mental strength guy. You work with Vinny Shorman. Is there a book you've read that's kind of helped you with your, mental toughness, your motivation? Is there something you like to read
Yeah,
or
the
read in the
Goggins books.
past?
I thought the Goggins books were great because if that guy can't get you jacked up, when you read his books like that, you're like, well, if this guy can do this, I can do anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like your mind is the most powerful weapon, but if you let it be, it'll just take you down the wrong routes as well. So when you look at some of the stuff he did with his body and and read his two books, it's a bit eye opening to what the body can actually do. A friend of mine, Gaz Timmins, as well. He's a Marine, and I read his books. He he went through some serious shit in his life. When you look at what he's done with his life and how he's turned it around and used his mind to all the Marine training, and he was a Marine, and then he like worked on pirate ships, stopping the pirates and stuff like that. He actually came on my podcast and he told a story about when his pirate ship got attacked, and he had to like have a gunfight of all these pirates. I was like, Jesus Christ! They're like, people can just do this with the mind and stuff. Anyone can do anything.
Okay. So you like the military guys? You like that?
Yeah, because they just their mindset is next level. Like especially that's marine style training and stuff. It just shows you what your body can actually do. Your mind will give up long before your body does. So if you can like calcify your mind and make your mind as strong as your body, you can do anything.
There you go. All right, movie. Give me a movie you've watched recently that got you fired up or you really enjoyed.
Do you know what? I watched Rambo again the other day. First Blood. Do you know what pisses me off? My missus has never seen it and refuses to watch it. And it were on telly the other day. I went, First Blood's on. And she went, I haven't seen it. I went, I know you haven't, but we're going to watch it. She went, I'm upstairs. And she's went upstairs. She won't watch it with me. She
What?
refuses to watch. Yeah, she refuses to watch Rambo. She's never watched Rocky. It sickens me to my soul, mate. But when Rambo
That
came
hurts.
on,
No Rocky,
yeah,
that hurts.
yeah, but
That hurts me from way over
yeah,
here.
exactly. But there's sort of like I've got again my taste in movies is I've got so many. I'll tell you what came on as well the other day that I was flicking through Blade One. I watched Blade One from 1998. I forgot how good that film is. If I just had to pick one movie though, it'd probably be something funny, like the other guys or something like that. I love them. But you can just chill out and watch 100 times over. Ace Ventura, the first one. I could literally watch that. I swear to God, I bet I've watched that film 200 times and I still laugh at exactly all the same parts. And the second one as well, to be fair. It's still just as funny to me.
My man, bro, you got Hitman Fight League, Liam Harrison online training or liamharrison.com online training with the Hitman. You've got, a potential another fight coming up at the end of this year. Man, so much going on, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. Final words, messages for all your friends and family and fans all around the world.
I'll be back at the end of the year. We're not done yet. Not quite done. And we've got
Not
a few more left. We've got a few more left in the tank. Well, I know what I'd like to do. I'd like to come back. I'd like to fight on one more time. And then I'd like to see my career out fighting on the Hitman shows and just build that show as much as I can before I retire. Because, like I say, we're going to start taking that off abroad and stuff now. So I want to get that Hitman show as big as we can, like as big as possible. And what's great about that is we work alongside One Championship, and we're getting to help push people towards the biggest stage on the planet and help fighters realize their dreams and get on this big stage. So that's amazing. That like when I fall back from one, I still can help people get to there, and I can still be involved in being just a small part of it. So that's nice.
Yeah, it is a great thing what you're doing, and I wish you all the best, my man.
I've
Thank you
told you you need to
so
teach me.
much.
You need to teach me some presenting skills as well, because I'd love to do that as well when I retire.
Yeah, you want to do? I think you on the mic would be amazing, bro.
Yeah,
I'd love to commentate with you sometime. I
yeah, I'd
think
love
your
it. Yeah,
insights would be great, bro.
yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that, mate.
Yeah, man, we got something special coming up, so I'll definitely put the word out to you, and it's going to be interesting as far as the mouthpiecing goes on the
Okay.
mic. So, thank you so much, my man. I appreciate your time. Best of luck and everything, and I can't wait to talk to you again, bro.
See you soon, brother. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Nice
Okay,
one.
don't go anywhere. Let's let this thing load. I'll
Yeah,
stop it.
I enjoyed that, mate. That was totally different to like any other